it is almost like borderline disturbing how acclimated everyone has gotten to the idea that, you know what, I've got 700, I've got 1,000, I've got all these dollar figures that other people will say, hey, that's my rent.
Hold on to your seats because Edmunds has just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the entire car industry. We're not talking about the usual data on new releases or the best cars for a weekend road trip. This report is much bigger. Edmunds, the industry authority on automotive reviews and pricing, has unveiled something that has car buyers, industry leaders, and even car dealers questioning everything they thought they knew. This isn't just a standard review or forecast. It's an eye-opener, one that's sparking conversation across the nation and leaving many people wondering if the market will ever be the same. Facing a new reality in car ownership, let's cut straight to the chase. 73% of Americans now see car ownership as completely unattainable. Yes, you heard that right. Over 2/3 of people don't think they can afford a car anymore. This isn't just about buying a flashy new ride. It's about basic transportation. For most of us, cars are essential, something we rely on for work, family, and everyday life. But with these rising costs, owning a car is moving out of reach for many families and individuals, creating a wave of financial anxiety that can't be ignored. It's not just the high prices that make car ownership seem impossible. There's an enormous gap between what consumers think they'll pay and what they actually face when they're ready to buy. It's a price reality that's clashing hard with consumer expectations, making the whole experience frustrating and even defeating for many. Edmunds' data shows that 48% of new car shoppers set their budgets at $35,000 or less. 14% of shoppers even hope to find a car for under $20,000. Now that might seem reasonable, right? But here's the kicker. These prices aren't matching the reality of what's out there. The average transaction price for new vehicles in the US has climbed to a staggering $47,716, way beyond what most people expect to pay. Think about it, nearly half of new car buyers want to spend no more than $35,000, yet the market is forcing them into a much higher bracket. And as for those hoping to snag a new car under $20,000, well, they're in for a rude awakening because almost no new cars are available at that price point anymore. Edmunds' data is showing a clear disconnect, one that's leading to sticker shock for buyers walking into dealerships. What they thought was affordable is, in many cases, simply out of reach. So, what happens when car shoppers face this reality check? Many find themselves reassessing everything, from their budgets to their car choices. It's almost as if the car buying process needs a complete reset. Edmunds' report reveals that this isn't just about rising prices, it's about a fundamental shift in what's possible for everyday consumers. More people are being forced to compromise, and many walk away feeling disappointed, even defeated. Imagine stepping into a dealership thinking you're about to buy a practical car within your budget, only to find that you're priced out of almost everything on the lot. This harsh reality has left buyers in a tough position. Some have started to question whether they should even consider buying a new car right now. They're being pushed to consider used vehicles, financing options, and compromises they hadn't initially planned on. The question on everyone's mind, why have prices skyrocketed? Edmunds' report traces the root of these rising costs back to a combination of factors, each one amplifying the next. First, there's the 30% increase in new car prices since 2019. This surge isn't just a bump, it's a seismic shift in pricing. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted global supply chains, making it harder for manufacturers to get the parts they need. On top of that, inflation hit hard, driving up the cost of raw materials, production, and shipping. But it's not just a matter of supply and demand. Consumer confidence has returned, leading to a spike in demand that the market can't meet. People are ready to buy, but they're faced with an inventory shortage that's creating an all too familiar story. Prices are climbing because the supply can't keep up with the demand. Back in the day, dealerships could rely on a steady supply of cars. Inventory levels in North America used to hover comfortably around 3 to 4 million cars at any given time. But now, experts predict we're moving towards a new normal, where inventory levels might drop to about 2.5 million units. This shortage of cars is only making things worse. Fewer cars mean more competition among buyers, and that competition is driving prices even higher. Imagine walking onto a lot with limited options, knowing that you'll have to pay a premium just to secure a vehicle. Dealers have fewer cars, and buyers have fewer choices, creating a scenario where everyone's paying more for less. And with inventory so tight, dealerships are holding all the cards. They can charge more, knowing that demand is high and options are low. The monthly payment crisis. It's not just the sticker price that's causing problems for buyers. Interest rates are climbing, making monthly payments harder to manage. Think about this, 15% of new vehicle buyers are now stuck with monthly payments that are over $1,000. That's right, $1,000. For many, that's as much as a second mortgage or rent payment. This financial strain is turning what should be an exciting purchase into a massive burden. For some buyers, these payments aren't just inconvenient, they're a deal breaker. Edmunds' report shows that more people are walking away from the car market entirely, unable to handle the financial load. The dream of driving a new car is quickly becoming a nightmare for those facing steep monthly costs. And it doesn't look like these payments are going to get easier anytime soon. One of the most eye-opening aspects of Edmunds' data is the clear disconnect between what consumers expect and what they're actually experiencing in the car market. Buyers walk into dealerships with a budget and a specific car in mind, but they're quickly learning that the market has shifted. It's a shock to the system, one that leaves many wondering if they'll ever find a car that fits their needs and budget. Imagine thinking you found the perfect car, only to discover that it's thousands of dollars out of reach. This isn't just disappointing, it's causing people to question their options entirely. Do they buy used? Do they wait for prices to drop? This disconnect is leaving many buyers with more questions than answers, and it's clear that the traditional car buying experience is undergoing a massive transformation. Just when buyers think they might escape high prices by looking at used cars, they're faced with another reality check. The used car market has also seen price hikes, leaving budget-conscious buyers with few options. Edmunds' data shows that the price of a used vehicle has risen to an average of $26,936. It's a bleak picture for those hoping to save money by going used. And it's not just about finding a cheaper option. Many buyers are looking for cars priced under $20,000, but that price range is becoming increasingly rare. In July 2023, only about 5% of used car sales were in that bracket, leaving buyers with limited choices and high prices. It's a tough time to be in the market for a car, new or used. Let's dive into the financial strain that's hanging over today's car buyers. Imagine this, for many Americans, the idea of buying a car isn't just a matter of picking out their favorite color and trim. It's now become a high-stakes game of financial acrobatics, with many people realizing they might need a second job just to keep up. Edmunds' data reveals that almost 50% of prospective car buyers feel they would need a secondary income just to afford a used vehicle. It's a statistic that highlights just how intense the financial pressure has become. But where's this pressure coming from? Think about the rising cost of living. Everything from groceries to rent has climbed higher and higher. Adding a car payment to the mix can be overwhelming for families already feeling the financial squeeze. For many, a vehicle isn't just a convenience, it's a necessity, something they rely on daily. Yet, with each passing month, it seems like the goal of owning a car is slipping further out of reach. The used car market reality check. Let's turn our attention to the used car market, where many buyers are hoping to find a bit of relief. But here's the reality. The used car market is no longer a safe haven for budget-conscious buyers. According to Edmunds' findings, the average price of a used vehicle has skyrocketed to $26,936. That's a number that would have seemed shocking just a few years ago. For buyers hoping to find a vehicle under $20,000, the options are shrinking fast. And it's not just about finding something affordable. Many of the cars available at lower price points are older models, often with higher mileage and the potential for costly repairs down the road. Buyers looking to save money might find themselves faced with a difficult choice. Pay more upfront for a newer used car or gamble on an older, less reliable vehicle. It's a situation that's pushing many to reconsider whether buying a car at all is worth the risk. One of the most interesting and concerning trends in the used car market is the age of traded-in vehicles. Edmunds' report notes that the average age of a trade-in has now exceeded 6 years. This shift isn't just a minor change, it's a sign that people are holding on to their cars longer than ever before. When these older vehicles finally make it to the lot, they're often more worn down and in need of repairs, making the used car inventory less reliable overall. In the past, a dealership might expect a trade-in to be a few years old with minimal wear and tear. But now, as people delay upgrading to a new vehicle, the used market is flooded with cars that have been through much more wear and tear. It's creating a cycle where buyers are faced with older, less reliable vehicles, further complicating their purchasing decisions. And for dealerships, it's a struggle to keep up with consumer expectations for quality in an environment where inventory is aging and options are limited. The financial strain from these rising car costs is pushing more people towards side hustles and second jobs. It's a response to a difficult reality. Owning a car, even a used one, might mean sacrificing free time, taking on extra shifts, or finding ways to bring in additional income. According to Edmunds, it's not uncommon for people to take on this extra work solely to afford a vehicle. It's a significant shift from the days when car ownership was a given and didn't require added income. This added financial burden is altering how people view car ownership, no longer just a purchase. It's now a serious financial commitment that affects their overall lifestyle. Many prospective buyers are reevaluating whether a car is truly necessary, or exploring alternatives like carpooling, public transit, or even biking to avoid the high costs. For families juggling other expenses, the decision to buy a car is now a weighty one, with major implications for their day-to-day finances. With the state of the market, it's not surprising that many buyers are experiencing sticker shock, whether they're at a dealership or browsing online. Remember, nearly half of all car shoppers are aiming to spend $35,000 or less. But with prices on the rise, they're frequently finding that their budgets fall short of their expectations. Edmunds' data captures this disappointment and frustration that so many people are facing. Walking into a dealership with a budget and watching it get torn apart by high prices is discouraging. Online shoppers face a similar problem, as the listings they're seeing reflect the inflated costs, making it nearly impossible to find a bargain. The harsh reality is that most people are having to adjust their expectations drastically, often opting for vehicles they hadn't considered or postponing their purchases altogether. With new and used car prices climbing, many buyers are turning to financing options to make car ownership more manageable, but this too is becoming a challenge. Interest rates have risen sharply, meaning that financing a car now comes with its own set of high costs. Edmunds' data shows that more people than ever are taking on longer loan terms just to bring down their monthly payments, sometimes stretching payments over 5, 6, or even 7 years. However, these longer loan terms come with added interest, meaning buyers end up paying much more over time. The end result, people are locked into high-cost financing arrangements that strain their budgets month after month. The goal of owning a vehicle has turned into a prolonged financial commitment, one that often costs far more than buyers initially planned for. The combination of high prices and limited financing options is pushing people to make compromises they wouldn't have considered a few years ago. For some, it means settling for a smaller or less powerful car than they originally wanted. For others, it means choosing an older model or even shifting from new to used. Edmunds' data suggests that more people are willing to sacrifice features, luxury, and even safety just to keep costs down. It's a sobering reality, especially for first-time buyers who might have dreamed of a certain type of car. Now, the decision comes down to what they can afford, not necessarily what they want. This adjustment in expectations is forcing people to be more practical, often prioritizing reliability and affordability over style or performance. It's a major shift in the car buying mindset, one that reflects the economic pressures facing consumers today. The mental toll of today's car market. All of these financial pressures and compromises are taking a mental toll on car buyers. What used to be an exciting process, picking out a new car, imagining the adventures to come, has now become stressful and draining. People are walking away from dealerships feeling defeated, often after realizing that the cars they want are out of reach. The joy of car shopping is being replaced by the anxiety of managing budgets and stretching finances. This shift isn't just financial, it's emotional. Edmunds' data shows that buying a car has become a high-stakes process, one that impacts families on multiple levels. It's not just about choosing a car anymore, it's about weighing long-term financial commitments and prioritizing other essentials, like rent or education over a new vehicle. For many, the car buying process is now fraught with stress, uncertainty, and in some cases, disappointment. Let's talk about inflation because it's a key part of this story. Rising costs aren't just affecting the car market, they're influencing every area of consumer spending. With inflation affecting everything from groceries to housing, many families are forced to prioritize essential expenses over luxury purchases like a new car. This is pushing more people to rethink their vehicle needs and explore other options. The reality is that inflation is forcing families to make tough choices. They might delay a car purchase, downsize their vehicle choice, or look for cheaper alternatives. The dream of owning a new car is becoming secondary to other financial obligations. Edmunds' data reflects this shift, showing that people are prioritizing necessities over what used to be considered standard purchases, like cars. With new and used cars out of reach, some buyers are choosing to hold onto their old cars longer than planned. Instead of upgrading, they're opting for repairs and maintenance to keep their existing vehicles running. It's a trend that's gaining traction as people realize that maintaining an old car might be more affordable than buying a new one in today's market. Edmunds' report shows that more people are investing in repairs, doing everything they can to extend the life of their current vehicle. For some, it's a practical solution to a difficult market. For others, it's a last resort. Either way, the message is clear. People are finding creative ways to make car ownership work, even if it means keeping their old cars on the road a little longer. As Edmunds' data shows, car buyers are feeling more frustrated than ever, and it's no surprise. Imagine stepping into a dealership expecting to be greeted by choices and reasonable options only to be hit with prices that make your head spin. Today, buying a car feels more like a maze than a straightforward path. The sheer sticker shock is leaving many customers bewildered, and that's not even counting the added cost of high-interest financing and insurance. A lot of this frustration is due to how quickly prices have skyrocketed, catching even the savviest shoppers off guard. For many, the car buying process has transformed from an exciting venture to a stressful ordeal. Edmunds' insights reveal that a significant portion of potential buyers are putting off car purchases altogether, a testament to just how intense the dissatisfaction has become. For car enthusiasts and everyday drivers alike, what was once a symbol of freedom and excitement has now turned into a source of stress. Families in particular are feeling the impact. With budgets stretched thinner than ever, many are choosing to hit the brakes on buying a new or even a used car. Instead, they're focusing on maintaining their current vehicles or opting for alternatives like public transit. Edmunds' data highlights how this trend is particularly strong among middle-income households, where every dollar counts. For these families, the decision isn't just about affordability, it's about weighing car ownership against other critical expenses like healthcare, housing, and education. Now, this decision to delay or skip a car purchase is a tough one, especially for families who rely on a vehicle for work, school, and daily life. But with rising costs on all fronts, a car simply doesn't take top priority in their financial plans. This shift underscores a bigger trend. People are reevaluating the necessity of car ownership altogether, which could have long-term impacts on the market. With the high cost of new and used cars, more buyers are beginning to explore alternatives to traditional ownership. We're seeing a surge in interest in leasing, car subscriptions, and even car sharing programs. Edmunds' data shows that leasing has become a more attractive option for those who want the benefits of a new car without the long-term financial commitment. For some, these alternatives offer a way to access a vehicle without the heavy upfront cost of ownership. Car subscription services, which allow users to switch cars based on need, are also gaining traction. While still a relatively new concept, these programs are appealing to people who want flexibility and variety without the usual maintenance worries. Then there's car sharing, which offers a pay-as-you-go model that's ideal for those who only need a car occasionally. Together, these options are giving consumers a different way to look at car access and ownership, one that doesn't necessarily involve a massive financial commitment. For those who still prefer owning a vehicle, certified pre-owned cars have become the middle ground between new and used options. Edmunds' data reveals a spike in CPO sales as consumers look for more affordable yet reliable options. CPO vehicles come with added perks like extended warranties and thorough inspections, which make them attractive to buyers who want peace of mind without paying the new car premium. The demand for CPO vehicles is a signal that buyers still want quality and security, even if they can't afford brand new models. With warranties and certifications, CPO vehicles offer a level of assurance that regular used cars can't match. This option is especially popular among budget-conscious families who need reliable transportation but are wary of high repair costs. For many, CPO is the perfect compromise in a market that offers few other middle ground choices. Rising repair costs and the importance of longevity. With new car prices soaring, more buyers are choosing to stick with their current vehicles, opting for repairs instead of replacements. But here's the catch: repair costs are rising too. Edmunds' report highlights that the average cost of major repairs has increased significantly over the past year, putting added strain on budgets. For many drivers, maintaining an older vehicle has become a balancing act, weighing the costs of repairs against the possibility of a new purchase. Longevity has become a crucial factor, with buyers increasingly looking at reliability ratings and maintenance costs when considering a vehicle. People want cars that will last longer without needing costly repairs, which is changing the way they approach car shopping. Instead of focusing on flashy features, today's buyers are prioritizing durability and low-cost maintenance, qualities that are essential in a market where every dollar counts. As consumers shift toward practicality, manufacturers are beginning to take notice. Edmunds' data shows that some automakers are rethinking their approach to meet this new demand for affordable and durable vehicles. Brands known for luxury and high-end features are now introducing more budget-friendly models, hoping to attract buyers who prioritize longevity and affordability over luxury. It's a response to a market that's becoming more conservative, where buyers want to know that their investment will stand the test of time. In addition to affordability, manufacturers are focusing on reliability. More companies are investing in materials and designs that promise lower maintenance costs and fewer repairs, catering to buyers who want vehicles they can depend on. For the first time in years, the industry is seeing a return to basics, with consumers valuing practicality over extravagance. It's a shift that's changing the way cars are made and sold. The rise of economic models and basic cars. One of the most noticeable trends is the resurgence of basic cars, models that focus on function rather than luxury. Edmunds' data shows that more buyers are choosing these no-frills options as a way to avoid high costs and unnecessary add-ons. We're seeing manufacturers introduce models with fewer high-tech features, opting instead for simplicity and reliability. It's a shift that reflects the current market, where practicality has become a top priority. These economic models are designed to offer good fuel efficiency, reliable engines, and low maintenance costs. For many, this approach is a breath of fresh air. Instead of paying extra for features they might never use, buyers can invest in a vehicle that meets their essential needs. This trend toward simplicity is a reflection of the broader economic pressures consumers are facing, and it's reshaping the way manufacturers design their cars. Fuel efficiency has taken center stage as people look to cut costs. Edmunds' report shows a surge in interest for hybrid and electric models as more consumers seek to reduce fuel expenses. With gas prices on the rise, buyers are more conscious of fuel economy than ever before. Eco-friendly models are no longer just about being green, they're also about saving money in the long term. Electric and hybrid models have become a smart financial choice for many, offering lower fuel and maintenance costs. Even though these models often come with a higher upfront cost, consumers are increasingly willing to make that investment if it means savings down the road. It's a shift that's likely to influence future vehicle designs as more manufacturers see the value in offering affordable, eco-friendly options. As the automotive market evolves, so too does the concept of car ownership. Edmunds' data reveals a growing trend towards non-traditional ownership models that could fundamentally reshape the industry. We're talking about options like car-sharing programs, subscription services, and lease-like models that allow people to switch cars based on need. These models cater to buyers who crave flexibility, those who want the benefits of car access without the burdens of long-term ownership. Imagine the freedom of having a car at your disposal only when you need it, with the ability to upgrade or change it as your life changes. It's a vision that appeals to those who don't want to be tied down by car payments, insurance, and maintenance. While these options might seem unconventional, they're quickly gaining traction among younger consumers who value experiences and adaptability over traditional ownership. It's a shift that reflects the modern lifestyle, one that prioritizes convenience and flexibility. Beyond ownership, the very nature of how we experience driving is changing. Edmunds' report highlights that connected car technology is one of the most sought-after features, with buyers now expecting vehicles to function as seamlessly connected devices. Today's vehicles are equipped with everything from advanced infotainment systems to real-time diagnostic monitoring and even voice assistance. For consumers, it's no longer just about getting from A to B, it's about creating a fully integrated experience on the road. This demand for connectivity has pushed automakers to go all in on tech, investing heavily in user-friendly interfaces and smart features. From in-car Wi-Fi to predictive maintenance alerts, modern cars are evolving into hubs of convenience and entertainment. Consumers are becoming increasingly accustomed to seamless technology in their daily lives, and they expect the same level of integration in their cars. As connectivity becomes more sophisticated, it's not hard to imagine a future where cars become extensions of our digital lives, working in harmony with our phones, homes, and even workplaces. While we're on the subject of advanced tech, let's talk about the bold frontier of autonomous driving. Edmunds' data shows that interest in self-driving technology is growing, especially among urban and tech-savvy buyers who are eager to embrace the convenience of autonomous vehicles. Though we're still in the early stages, companies like Tesla, Waymo, and Cruise are making strides in developing reliable self-driving tech that could soon transform our roads. For consumers, the appeal is clear. Self-driving cars promise freedom from the daily grind of driving. Imagine catching up on email, watching a movie, or even taking a nap during your commute. However, with this technology comes a slew of questions around safety, regulation, and reliability. Still, the potential impact is undeniable. Self-driving cars have the power to reshape everything from car ownership to city planning, creating a world where transportation is safer, more efficient, and more accessible to all. While autonomous technology holds immense promise, the road to widespread adoption is filled with hurdles. Edmunds' report highlights key concerns: safety, regulatory approval, and public trust. For autonomous vehicles to succeed, they must be able to navigate complex driving environments with a high degree of accuracy and reliability, a challenge that even the most advanced tech companies are still grappling with. Safety remains the top priority. With every advancement in self-driving technology, companies are working to mitigate risks and ensure that autonomous systems can handle a wide range of scenarios. Regulatory approval is another hurdle, as government agencies work to establish guidelines and safety standards for self-driving cars. And then there's public trust. For many, the idea of surrendering control to a machine is unsettling, and it will take time for people to fully embrace the concept of autonomous driving. Despite these challenges, the potential benefits of self-driving technology are immense, and it's a development that's likely to reshape the industry in the years to come. As we look toward the future, electric vehicles are set to play a pivotal role in shaping the automotive landscape. Edmunds' data shows a significant increase in demand for EVs, with more consumers drawn to their eco-friendly benefits and long-term cost savings. With fuel costs on the rise, EVs offer an attractive alternative, providing consumers with the opportunity to reduce their environmental impact while saving money on fuel. Automakers are responding to this demand by ramping up their EV offerings. Brands like Tesla, Nissan, and Chevrolet have been early adopters, but now nearly every major automaker has announced plans to expand their electric lineups. This shift toward electrification is a clear indication that the industry is moving toward sustainability. As battery technology improves and charging infrastructure expands, the barriers to EV adoption are beginning to diminish. Soon, owning an EV could be as commonplace as owning a traditional gasoline-powered car. The challenges facing EV adoption. Despite the benefits of EVs, there are still challenges to overcome before they become a mainstream choice. Charging infrastructure, range anxiety, and high upfront costs remain key obstacles for many potential buyers. Edmunds' data reveals that while interest in EVs is growing, some consumers are hesitant to make the switch due to concerns about where and how they'll charge their vehicles, especially if they live in urban areas or regions with limited charging stations. Range anxiety, the fear that an EV will run out of battery before reaching a charging station, also weighs heavily on consumers' minds. Although newer models offer extended ranges, it's a psychological barrier that takes time to overcome. Then there's the issue of cost. While EVs promise long-term savings, the initial purchase price can be daunting for many buyers. However, with government incentives and decreasing battery costs, the path to widespread EV adoption is becoming clearer. For those willing to take the plunge, EVs represent not just a new way to drive, but a new way to think about car ownership and environmental responsibility. One major factor propelling the EV market forward is government policy and incentives. Edmunds' data highlights that incentives like tax breaks, rebates, and subsidized charging stations have played a crucial role in making EVs more accessible to the average consumer. In some states, EV owners enjoy perks like lower registration fees and access to carpool lanes, making electric cars an attractive option for more than just their eco-friendliness. Government policies are also pushing automakers to reduce emissions, which is accelerating the shift toward electric and hybrid vehicles. As environmental standards tighten, companies are investing heavily in green technology, setting the stage for a future where electric and hybrid models become the norm. These policies are reshaping the market and encouraging innovation, helping to create a landscape where sustainable driving options are more attainable for all. Looking ahead, the future of the automotive industry. As we wrap up, it's clear that the automotive industry is on the brink of transformative change. Edmunds' report paints a picture of a future where flexible ownership models, advanced technology, and sustainable options will redefine how we think about car ownership. With traditional concepts of car buying being challenged, we're entering an era that values flexibility, connectivity, and environmental responsibility over simply owning a vehicle for the long term. It's a shift that's not just changing the way cars are built and sold, it's changing the way we live. As technology continues to advance, we can expect more innovations that make driving safer, cleaner, and more convenient. For consumers, this means more choices, more options for affordability, and a deeper connection between vehicles and their daily lives. The car of the future is more than just a mode of transportation. It's a hub of technology, a partner in sustainability, and a reflection of the driver's values.